Infections from intravenous drug use. What is intravenous drug use? Intravenous injections rapidly admit drugs into the body by way of inserting a needle into a peripheral vein in the arm or leg. Otherwise known as shooting, slamming, banging, blasting, or mainlining. Intravenous injections usually result in a much more rapid availability of the drug into the system. Intravenous injection also leads to a greater risk of dependency and infection from dirty needles or usage of toxic drugs. Why does for drug use produce infection? When it comes to for drug use and infection, there are many factors to consider. Bacterial infections are caused when germs on the skin or within a contaminated needle are pushed through the skin and deep into the body. Injecting a substance into the skin bypasses the usual barriers of entry that our body uses to protect us. If infection-causing bacteria reach blood vessels, it can result in infection of the widespread deep tissue, veins, or vascular tissue. Those who inject subcutaneously or engage in skin popping are at higher risk of developing infected blisters, subcutaneous abscesses, or pustules when users share needles or other injecting paraphernalia. Bloodborne infections like HIV and hepatitis C are common. Those who live in poor conditions and engage in intravenous drug use usually have a lack of hygiene and poor nutritional habits that contribute to the risk of getting other infections from shooting up, such as staph is the deadliest skin infection. With over 30 varieties, staph infection symptoms can range from mild to life-endangering. Commonly injected drugs. The most commonly injected drugs are heroin, amphetamines, barbiturates, buprenorphine, benzodiazepine, cocaine, and methamphetamine. Cause of bacterial infections, skin and soft tissue infections. Bacterial infections often arise from injecting a needle into fatty tissue beneath the surface layer of skin. Veins that leak during injection along with toxic drug usage can cause infection as well as tissue morbidity. The presence of bacteria on the skin surface while injecting can also result in bacterial infection. Types of bacterial infections: abscess, botulism, cellulitis, heart valve infection, HIV infection, AIDS, liver disease, tetanus. The spread of the HIV virus across China, Central Asia, and Eastern Europe closely corresponds with the rapid rise in intravenous or for drug use. Signs of infection. If an infection is present in bodily areas that are frequently injected, the injection site will become tender, warm to the touch, and red. A frequent pattern of injection causes infections that lead to discoloration, scarring. A person with swollen lymph glands that has a high fever and heavy sweats may need immediate medical attention. These needle infection symptoms are signs of an overdose or a toxic reaction to a substance. For example, black tar heroin is named after its tar-like consistency. It contains many additives and contaminants that can cause local infection, blood clots, and damage to the following organs: lungs, kidneys, brain, liver.
Once upon a time, in the summer of 2017, a challenging and life-altering experience unfolded. It was a moment that taught me a valuable lesson about the dangers of drugs. Let me share this story with you. During that fateful summer, I made a choice that would change my life forever. I decided to inject a substance called Philly Dope into my body. Little did I know that it contained a powerful drug called fentanyl. The consequences were more severe than anything I could have imagined. As the drug coursed through my veins, I immediately fell gravely ill. It was as if I had become a character in a science fiction movie, where an alien creature threatened to burst out of my chest. The agony I experienced during withdrawal was unlike anything I had ever encountered before. In an attempt to alleviate the excruciating pain of withdrawal, I turned to Suboxone, a synthetic opioid known to help ease the process. I had used it successfully in the past to overcome addiction and achieve sobriety. However, this time, it seemed powerless against the overwhelming hold of addiction. The withdrawal symptoms were relentless, and I realized that leaving this vicious cycle would not be easy, nor could I do it alone. These moments served as a wake-up call for me. I recognized the tremendous power of addiction and the immense difficulty of breaking free from its grasp. It was a realization that drugs have the ability to control our lives, manipulating our thoughts, actions, and emotions. It was clear that I had to make a choice to fight, to seek help, and to reclaim my life from the clutches of addiction. Remember, my friends, this story is a reminder of the dangers that lurk within the world of drugs. It is a cautionary tale about the consequences of making the wrong choices. It's crucial to understand that addiction is a powerful force that can have devastating effects on our lives. Let this story be a lesson and a motivation for all of us to say no to drugs. Let's cherish our health, protect our well-being, and support one another on the path to a drug-free life. Together, we can overcome the challenges, break free from addiction, and build a future filled with hope, happiness, and endless possibilities.
Synthetic opioids, like fentanyl, are fueling the rise in overdose deaths. Over the last several years, deaths by synthetic opioids have been on a sharp incline, while overdose deaths by fentanyl. What drug users and people who work with them in Philadelphia talk about is the smell. The smell of rotting flesh from open infected wounds. Some users say they feel ashamed of the state of their bodies, but more feel a sense of urgency. They need help. The wounds are killing them. It is absolutely horrible. That's the reality, though, said James Sherman, known as Sherm around Philadelphia's Kensington neighborhood, where he once used drugs and where he now tries to help those still on the streets. The need for help has become more urgent over the last 3 years, as the animal tranquilizer xylazine, also called Tranq, has become a bigger part of Philly's street fentanyl supply. Xylazine can cause large wounds that won't heal, no matter where you inject it, and they can appear even if you snort it or smoke it. Infections are common and can even lead to amputations. Some people aren't ready to see that yet, Sherman said. It's literally people's flesh rotting, and you can smell it. Kensington has seen the changing nature of America's addiction crisis. It has been well known as a place to buy heroin under the elevated rail line, a short distance, but a world away from the business and tourist centers of downtown. Heroin was edged out by the more powerful synthetic opioid fentanyl. But fentanyl's effects don't last as long as heroin, and so xylazine was added to street fentanyl to give it legs, according to Sarah Laurel, who founded Savage Sisters, the harm reduction group that employs Sherman. Xylazine is not approved for humans, but it's widely available for veterinarians to sedate large animals like horses. Like an opioid, it can kill pain, but it cannot be reversed with Narcan, also known as naloxone, which is used to treat opioid overdoses, according to the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency. As xylazine is usually mixed in with fentanyl, naloxone can help an overdose person by counteracting the opioid, though other measures may be needed. Workers at Savage Sisters now carry oxygen tanks with them. The drug has side effects like tranq walk, where people seem unaware of their surroundings, along with sores and wounds. Tranq made its mark on Philadelphia's street drugs about 3 years ago. That's when doctors, users, and those who try to help them saw a difference. Synthetic opioids, like fentanyl, are fueling the rise in overdose deaths. Over the last several years, deaths by synthetic opioids have been on a sharp incline, while overdose deaths by heroin have dropped off. Drug overdose deaths per 100,000 U.S. residents, 2001 to 2021. Nobody was coming to Kensington to buy tranq, they were coming to get heroin, said Laurel of the Savage Sisters group. You don't go to your drug dealer and say, "Do you have a nutrition label with this?" You get what you get, and you don't get upset. And whatever you get, you eventually feel a physical compulsion to do, she said.
Yeah.
Kensington, now the fentanyl supply has adulterants to xylazine, is in 9 out of 10 samples of lab-tested dope in Philadelphia.
Yeah. All this is around. And you can see all this is. You can see the kids around here. They got kids around. They can't come to this park. Yo, so you know, I got one of my people, subscriber. Tell me your name. What's up? Thank you for coming, first of all, so you can see how Kensington is for real. And bless you, man. Thank you, bless you. Tell me your name and everything. Tell me.
All right, Bolo, my name's Danny, man. You know, I don't come from around stuff like this. You know, when I came here, trying to find my sister. 'Cause my sister's somewhere in this mess. You know, I always thought watching Batman, Gotham City was fiction. Fiction. Guess what? It ain't fiction. Because you go underneath the L, and that's Gotham City. And it's terrible, and this needs to stop. Something needs to get fixed, and we need to fix this now.
We're going over there. Let's see if we can take a walk. My big bro right here, so let's go. Go low, dímelo, go low. So you can see, they got a different crew always. But that's the health department, so they blessing everybody. Good day. Yo, the other day they stopped me again coming out of the park. That's why I told the cop, yo, my truck is here. Because, like,
Synthetic opioids, like fentanyl, are fueling the rise in overdose deaths. Over the last several years, deaths by synthetic opioids have been on a sharp incline, while overdose deaths by fentanyl. What drug users and people who work with them in Philadelphia talk about is the smell. The smell of rotting flesh from open infected wounds. Some users say they feel ashamed of the state of their bodies. But more feel a sense of urgency. They need help. The wounds are killing them. It is absolutely horrible. That's the reality, though, said James Sherman, known as Sherm around Philadelphia's Kensington neighborhood, where he once used drugs and where he now tries to help those still on the streets. The need for help has become more urgent over the last 3 years, as the animal tranquilizer xylazine, also called Tranq, has become a bigger part of Philly's street fentanyl supply. Xylazine can cause large wounds that won't heal, no matter where you inject.
You know, Brian, we've got a fentanyl-related death in this country every 9 minutes.
Due to this very potent opioid, fentanyl, this nurse practitioner's warning going viral on TikTok.
In the past 24 hours, my local hospital has lost 11 people to fentanyl poisoning. Of the 11, 6 were under the age of 15.
Even in small quantities, the presence of fentanyl can be extremely dangerous, even fatal. Every day, more than 150 individuals lose their lives due to overdoses involving synthetic opioids like fentanyl. What makes it particularly perilous is that fentanyl can be present in drugs at lethal levels without any visible taste or smell cues to alert the user. Fentanyl is a synthetic opioid that surpasses heroin in strength by up to 50 times and morphine by up to 100 times. Its potency makes it a significant contributor to both fatal and non-fatal overdose cases in the United States. There are 2 primary forms of fentanyl, pharmaceutical fentanyl and illicitly manufactured fentanyl. Both fall under the category of synthetic opioids. Pharmaceutical fentanyl is legitimately prescribed by medical professionals to alleviate severe pain, especially post-surgery or for individuals with advanced stage cancer. However, the majority of recent fentanyl-related overdoses can be traced back to illicitly manufactured fentanyl, which is distributed through illegal drug markets due to its heroin-like effects. Illicit fentanyl is frequently mixed with other drugs due to its exceptional potency, resulting in more affordable, stronger, more addictive, and ultimately more hazardous substances. Fentanyl was first developed in 1959 and introduced in the 1960s as an intravenous anesthetic. It is legally manufactured and distributed in the United States. Licit fentanyl pharmaceutical products are diverted via theft, fraudulent prescriptions, and illicit distribution by patients, physicians, nurses, physician assistants, nurse practitioners, and pharmacists. From 2011 through 2021, both fatal overdoses associated with abuse of clandestinely produced fentanyl and fentanyl analogs, and law enforcement encounters increased markedly. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, overdose deaths involving synthetic opioids, excluding methadone, were involved in roughly 2,600 drug overdose deaths each year in 2011 and 2012, but from 2013 through 2021, the number of drug overdose deaths involving synthetic opioids, excluding methadone, increased dramatically each year, to more than 68,000 in 2021. The total number of overdose deaths for this category was greater than 258,000 for 2013 through 2021. These overdose deaths involving synthetic opioids is primarily driven by illicitly manufactured fentanyl, including fentanyl analogs. Consistent with overdose death data, the trafficking, distribution, and abuse of illicitly produced fentanyl and fentanyl analogs positively correlates with the associated dramatic increase in overdose fatalities. What does it look like? Clandestinely produced fentanyl is encountered either as a powder or in fake tablets and is sold alone or in combination with other drugs such as heroin or cocaine. Fentanyl pharmaceutical products are currently available in the following dosage forms: oral transmucosal lozenges commonly referred to as fentanyl lollipops, Actic registered, effervescent buccal tablets, Fentora registered, sublingual tablets, Abstral registered, sublingual sprays, Subzis registered, nasal sprays, Lazanda registered, transdermal patches, Duragesic registered, and injectable formulations.
The only variety of pride that flourishes here anymore is the perverse kind.
This neighborhood's been given the title of the Badlands.
We right in the heart of drug land.
This neighborhood is just full of pain.
Most of the buildings have no running water, no electricity, anything like that. Sometimes, to earn a few dollars, they may let other people come in, and do their drugs, and it would, pretty much charge them for that, charge them like $1.
So they're turning the houses into shooting galleries? Or?
Pretty much, some of them, yeah, they would do, because actually they really don't have no other way to make no money.
The addicts and the squatters live side by side, co-conspirators in desperation, although several of the gutted buildings have been taken over totally by the junkies. A couple of weeks ago, a fire on the second floor of this house temporarily forced the users out into the harsh sunlight. But as soon as the fire trucks left, it was back to business as usual. If the house looks vaguely familiar, it should. This is where Arthur Stinson and his 4 grandnephews used to live. Now, it's one of the sights on the tour.
This is a known hit house. You want to go in? Sure, come on in.
In the Badlands, even the cops have street names. His is Batman.
Don't run, don't run, don't run. Y'all know the deal. Don't run. Ladies, 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 don't run. Don't run. Listen, we know who you are. I know who you are, don't you?
Yes.
All right then. So if I wanted you, I could have you, right?
Right.
So,
that's true.
So we just viewing, maybe this can help us get you some help. You know what I mean? If you ever decide you want some help.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So what will it take to get you to detox?
Just the subway.
Subway.
Mm-hmm. I I'm trying to get out. I have a family I want to take care. I have come from good stock. I mean, most of us in here come from good stock. We're church people. Our families are good people.
Yeah.
You know, but we get caught up in here. Then when you go into detox, they told me I could have 1 day. What kind of is that?
This is not a life that we really want to be in. This is a life that
we got caught up in.
We didn't know that it would lead into this.
You know one thing? We are nowhere near as bad as them damn crackheads.
Right.
Where we be at, we only be where we be at. We don't be running around lifting nobody's car, taking nobody's stuff, none of that.
That's the difference. Most of us make an honest living.
I'm
I'm a vendor. I sell clothes.
Say
I go to the warehouse, I buy clothes, I sell my hats. I sell hats and little hula hoops. They call me, I sell hula hoops, hats, and whatnot. And you know how the Koreans have the wholesale houses set up?
Right.
That's what I do. Then some of us sell works.
Yeah.
You know. And the point is what it is we try to, it might sound funny, but we try to make an honest living.
True.
Okay.
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how a guy and a woman can make an honest living, within this,
it's all
addict
part of
community.
hustling.
You'd be surprised.
The addicts call this man the doctor.
Why? Because you help them shoot up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's no claim to fame, but
No,
that's
I was gonna say that is no claim to fame.
Not
That's
at all.
Tell you
I
what,
carry
he
my
helps
share of guilt.
more people than what he, all right, because if they didn't, they would end up everything else. Even though this doesn't look like much, everyone uses clean needles.
right.
We carry our own water.
Are you afraid of this place?
No.
Why not? I mean, there's some pretty hard people here.
Yeah, I know, but in spite of what it looks like, if I got in trouble out here, I used to think that if I ever got in trouble out here, nobody would come to my aid. Well, I believe these guys would.
What's going on over there?
That's another hit house.
Another hit house.
Yeah, that's major.
Looks like a lot of activity over there, right?
The rule is like I said, the rule is that you do it away. If we can't stop it, just don't do it in front of the kids, because there was a time they did it so blatantly in front of the children until I stayed on top of them. I was like, I was just locking up guys, beating my head. When they do it back there, at least the children don't see it.
Richard Safford, that is his real name, has tailored a special brand of pragmatism for the Badlands. Perhaps he does not always do what the law would demand, but he does what he can.
Drugs here.
This is a world unlike anything that most of us inhabit, a world in which real families with terribly vulnerable children try to keep the world of drugs at bay with a caricature of a barricade, bisecting Percy Street. Tombstone, himself an addict, acknowledges that it may be a triumph of hope over expectation.
Maybe 3 out of 10 kids will make it out of this neighborhood and become something constructive. The other 4 stay in the neighborhood and continue to carry on what's going on like you see now. The rest of them are either wind up.
Alerta de noticias. Los peligros de fentanil. Aunque todavía quedan muchas preguntas acerca de las circunstancias que rodean la trágica muerte del cantante conocido como Prince en abril de 2016. Un informe publicado por la Oficina del Médico Forense del Medio Oeste llegó a la conclusión que el cantante murió por una sobredosis del opioide fentanil. El fentanil es un analgésico opiáceo sintético muy potente, con un inicio rápido y de corta duración. Se utiliza por la vía intravenosa en un hospital para el alivio del dolor severo. También está disponible con receta médica en diversas formas. Los parches transdérmicos funcionan liberando lentamente fentanil a través de la piel durante 48 a 72 horas, lo que permite alivio del dolor a larga duración. También hay pastillas y paletas de fentanil en formulación sólida conteniendo citrato de fentanil que se disuelve lentamente en la boca por absorción transmucosa. Estas pastillas están diseñadas para personas que toleran los opioides y son eficaces en el tratamiento del dolor irruptivo, un brote repentino de dolor que atraviesa el medicamento recetado de acción prolongada para el tratamiento del dolor moderado a grave persistente en pacientes con cáncer. Otras formulaciones incluyen láminas bucales y spray nasal. El fentanil es abusado por sus intensos efectos eufóricos, y puede servir como un sustituto a la heroína en personas dependientes a los opiáceos. Los parches de fentanil se abusan inyectando o ingiriendo la gel que contiene el parche. Los parches usados o desechados también pueden ser objeto de abuso, ya que una porción de fentanil permanece en el parche incluso después de las 48 a 72 horas, el uso recomendado. De acuerdo con la Agencia Antidrogas de Estados Unidos, el uso ilícito es una preocupación cada vez mayor, con desvío a través de robos de farmacias, recetas fraudulentas y la distribución ilícita. El fentanil fabricado ilegalmente de grado no farmacéutico también es un problema. Esta formulación puede encontrarse mezclada en la heroína para aumentar su potencia, o en pastillas compradas en la calle y vendidas como analgésicos opiáceos como la hidrocodona. Puede estar presente con o sin el conocimiento del usuario. Entre 2005 a 2007 un brote de sobredosis relacionadas con fentanil ocurrió. De acuerdo con el sistema de vigilancia del CDC/DEA, se reportaron 1.013 muertes confirmadas relacionadas con fentanil de grado no farmacéutico. Debido a su potencia, el fentanil puede ser fatal si se ingiere accidentalmente o se abusa. Para aumentar su seguridad, asegúrese de que todos los medicamentos estén bajo llave y bien contados. Los parches usados se deben desechar de forma segura en un lugar que no sea accesible para los niños o los animales domésticos. Si usted o su familia ha sido inadvertidamente expuestos al fentanil, póngase en contacto con su centro local de envenenamiento al 1-800-222-1222. Los centros de envenenamiento están disponibles las 24 horas del día, 7 días a la semana, todos los días del año para emergencias de envenenamiento y para llamadas informativas. Riesgos y efectos del fentanilo, la droga más adictiva del mundo. El fentanilo es un potente analgésico sintético que se utiliza comúnmente en la medicina para tratar el dolor severo, especialmente en pacientes con cáncer. Aunque es altamente efectivo para aliviar el dolor, también es muy adictivo y puede causar problemas graves de salud, incluyendo sobredosis y muerte. El fentanilo es más de 100 veces potente que la morfina y su uso inapropiado puede ser extremadamente peligroso. A pesar de que el fentanilo es una droga legal y controlada, su uso ilícito ha aumentado en los últimos años. Se ha convertido en un problema de salud pública en muchos países debido a su creciente popularidad en el mercado de drogas ilícitas. El fentanilo se puede encontrar en forma de tabletas, parches o inyectable y puede ser mezclado con otras drogas, lo que lo hace aún más peligroso. Incluso una pequeña cantidad de fentanilo puede ser mortal para un usuario no acostumbrado. Los riesgos del fentanilo son altos y no deben ser subestimados. Además de la adicción, el fentanilo puede causar efectos secundarios graves, como dificultad para respirar, somnolencia, mareos, confusión y náuseas. Es importante que las personas que toman fentanilo lo hagan bajo la supervisión de un médico y sigan cuidadosamente las instrucciones de dosificación. La doctora en farmacología Silvia Cruz ofreció una entrevista para explicar el fenómeno del fentanilo, una droga sintética que se ha popularizado en redes sociales bajo el apodo de
Like you see people, I'm gonna use this park for a tournament, so I have to clean it. I wish I can pay them, the other guys, the whole day, but like I said, I don't got the money like that. Yeah, we got it. Yeah, man, I wish, like I said, I wish I could have money. I would take those two father and son and work with me all day. Like that. I'm not alone, you know? Look at all this garbage. Alright, this is clean. So look, all that under, gonna clean all that. Wow, look. So we're gonna use this park for the tournament, so I had to clean it, so wow. So we're gonna be right here. So like I said, we're gonna need trophies, basketball balls. I'm gonna be filming everything, so we're gonna do the tournament through YouTube. I think I'm gonna get on like first, second, and third, like prizes of money, right? Okay, they're gonna be kids, like young kids. So we can give them, I don't know, like a $50 gift card or something. Each one of them, you know? So like that they can. I don't know, like that could give them like first and second gift. So I don't know, maybe something like that. So I got that corner to clean. People, this is what we clean. Look, the kid playing basketball. Look this. Look this. They're playing basketball. This is what we clean. All right, Papa. You know que I play good basketball. I was a good player. I'm gonna clean this real fast. You clean this for the kids.
Something like a phenomenon, but still don't think whatever the drama's on.
The thing is a picnic. Look all the way. All the way over there in the tree. So I don't know, maybe something like that. So I got that corner to clean.
Witness the profound impact of addiction in this poignant video. What unfolds before your eyes is a stark depiction of the harrowing reality of drug abuse. I present to you the genuine portrayal of my own struggle with addiction, a chapter in my life that consumed me entirely. Fentanyl, a formidable force that teetered between life and death, became my unfathomable obsession. Never before had my existence plummeted to such abysmal depths. As I succumbed to the clutches of addiction, I watched helplessly as everything I held dear slipped through my desperate fingers. My life became an open book, my pain exposed to the callous eyes of the public. In the unforgiving streets of Kensington, where addiction finds solace, I sought refuge. It is a place recognized by politicians who turn a blind eye, neglecting their duty to protect those trapped in the unrelenting grip of addiction. For in the eyes of society, junkies bear no significance, as their voices are silenced by their affliction. But hear me now, for I implore you to comprehend the horrifying trajectory that fentanyl can set you upon. This video serves as a stark reminder that any pill tainted with fentanyl is an insidious catalyst for your demise. Do you desire a life plagued by despair? Is this the existence you yearn for? I beseech you, in the name of self-preservation, to muster the strength to say no. Embrace the fortitude required to defy the allure of substance abuse. Ponder the devastating consequences that addiction mercilessly inflicts upon the body, mind, and soul of its victims. Fentanyl, the looming crisis within the opioid epidemic, wreaks havoc on all who dare to indulge in its deadly embrace. I share this video with a single purpose in mind, to spare you from the agonizing fate I have endured. Do not let the clutches of drugs ensnare you. Say no to the temptation that beckons, for within that resilience lies your strength. Let this video be a testament to the pain endured by addicts and the heartbreak experienced by those who love them. May it serve as an impassioned plea to the youth, imploring them to glean wisdom from this somber tale. Together, let us forge a path of enlightenment and deterrence. Furthermore, let us delve into the heart-wrenching perspective of a mother who witnesses her beloved child succumbing to the treacherous streets of Kensington Avenue. Imagine, for a moment, the anguish that grips her soul as she gazes upon her son or daughter trapped in the clutches of addiction. Her heart, once brimming with hopes and dreams for her child, now aches with an indescribable pain. The joyous memories of their innocent laughter and the dreams of a bright future are overshadowed by the haunting reality unfolding before her eyes. Every fiber of her being longs to rescue her child from the grips of this merciless beast, yet she finds herself powerless against the strength of their addiction. In her eyes, she sees a reflection of her own failures and shortcomings, plagued by guilt and self-blame. She questions where she went wrong, wondering if there was something she could have done differently to shield her child from this torment. Every tear shed is a testament to the unconditional love that refuses to waver even in the face of despair. The weight of worry and sleepless nights weighs heavily upon her weary shoulders. She walks a tightrope between hope and despair, praying for a miracle that will release her child from the clutches of addiction. Her heartbreak is immeasurable, for no mother should bear witness to the sight of her child reduced to a mere shell of their former self. Let this be a stark reminder to the youth, for the pain endured by a mother witnessing her child's descent into addiction is a pain that reverberates through generations. Spare her from the agony of such a sight. Choose a different path, one that steers clear of the perilous allure of drugs. Embrace the love and support that surround you, for in that embrace lies the promise of a brighter future. A future that honors the dreams and desires your mother holds dear for you.
The night raced on, mirroring our journey away from Kensington Avenue. A radio played softly in the background, introducing me to the melodic strains of Hotel California for the first time. Its haunting lyrics resonated within me, perhaps stirring a desire for an even greater high. It was difficult to fathom that I had escaped the clutches of Kensington. With 47 bags of fentanyl still in my possession and approximately 13 more hours until our arrival in Florida, I was immersed in the world of fentanyl. My body had become a reservoir of the potent substance, capable of sedating even the mightiest of creatures. Yet, I was a slave to addiction, a junkie who had resorted to smoking discarded cigarettes from the grimy floors of Kensington. Now, however, I found myself seated in a car on a path that seemed to lead to a semblance of heaven. As the car moved forward, my mind began to wander back to a time when fentanyl hadn't consumed my every thought. Memories of a life filled with simple pleasures flooded my consciousness. I recalled the blissful days spent at the beach, basking in the warmth of the sun, and taking leisurely strolls or jogging, watching the vibrant hues of the evening sky as the sun gracefully descended. My mother's voice echoed in my mind, and a deep ache for her presence surged within me. I longed for her warm embrace, her tender kisses, and the assurance of her unwavering love. My heart yearned for that affection, and I found solace in gazing at the dark expanse of the sky, as the car carried me farther and farther away from my personal hell known as Kensington. Suddenly, Romero interrupted my reverie, inquiring if I could take over driving duties. A flicker of confidence ignited within me as I responded. "Yeah, I can drive. It's been a while, but I can manage." Just as I spoke those words, Mr. Roman stirred from his slumber, announcing his presence and asserting his authority. "Nope, I'll drive. I slept well," he declared. He suggested we stop at the next rest area to grab a bite to eat, preparing ourselves for the imminent dawn and the promise of a beautiful day ahead. With a few more hours left until we reached Florida, we pressed on, propelled by a mix of anticipation and apprehension. Once again, Mr. Roman took the wheel, and this time, an overwhelming curiosity compelled me to inquire about his motivations for helping me escape. And so, he began to share his own story. As he drove, his gaze focused ahead, he revealed that he, too, had experienced homelessness and the loss of everything in his life. A deep empathy resonated within me as he continued, confessing that he had once been incarcerated for attempted second-degree murder. The sincerity in his eyes left no room for doubt. Mr. Roman's voice never wavered as he recounted his journey. "After serving my sentence, I found myself entangled in the grip of fentanyl addiction," he confessed. The grip of his addiction had brought him perilously close to death's door. Intrigued, I couldn't help but ask, "How did you escape? How did you come back to life?" His response resonated with a quiet wisdom. "I died," he said softly, "and God granted me a second chance at life." Intrigued and amazed, I pressed for more details. Mr. Roman obliged, recounting a transformative experience. It was as if I gained a profound understanding of my addiction and a burning desire to break free from the clutches of fentanyl, he explained. "I made the decision to go cold turkey, and I succeeded." A smile